We like to focus on Bible prophecy each week for about 5 minutes. We call it a prophecy update. It's one of our more popular podcasts, by the way. Scholars say that of the 2,500 or so prophecies in the Bible, there are approximately 500 prophecies of the end times that are awaiting fulfillment. We should see things trending in the direction of those prophecies. For example, the Bible predicted that Israel, and Jerusalem in particular, would be incredibly troublesome politically in the end times. It predicted this when there was no Israel in the end times, but now we see that nation born again. It was to be expected, and it's obviously unfolding just as God predicted. Now, today's update is going to be a little bit different from all the others. I'm going to talk about something that we think is a sign, or some people do, of the end times, but it really isn't. One of the problems with a lot of the prophecy update sites is that, just from my perspective, most of the news has nothing really to do with biblical prophecy, and sometimes they get things a little bit wrong. And so let me tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the persecution of Christians. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to point out in a moment that the persecution of Christians worldwide is increasing, and some say it is worse than at any time in history. They say it is at genocide levels in some countries. But the verse most often cited as the persecution prophecy is Matthew 24:9, where Jesus says, "Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake." That was part of Jesus' Olivet discourse about the end times. Question is, when is the then that he was predicting? Matthew 24 and 25 describe the future 7-year tribulation on the earth. They're not at all about the church. Jesus did not say persecution would increase in the church age as a sign of the end. He was talking about what would be happening in the tribulation leading up to his second coming. Persecution in the church age should be expected all the time. Multiple verses tell believers that the entire time between the birth of the church and the rapture will be a time of being persecuted for the sake of the gospel. Sometimes worse, sometimes not so bad, different places at different times. I think it's important to be accurate. There are plenty of signs that we're in the end times. We don't need to suggest things that we cannot defend. Now, Christians are being persecuted like never before. Listen to these quotes from an article titled, "11 Christians are killed every day for their faith in Jesus Christ." In North Korea, if Christians are discovered, not only are they deported to labor camps or even killed on the spot, their families to the 4th generation share their fate. In Afghanistan, to convert to a faith outside Islam is tantamount to treason. Very often, there is only one possible outcome for exposed and caught Christians, and that is death. In Somalia, Islamic militant groups like Al-Shabaab are de facto rulers who regard Christians with a Muslim background as high-value targets. They are killed on the spot when discovered. The level of violence against Christians in Libya is very high, and Christians in Libya are subjected to violent, inhumane, and degrading treatment. Another article was titled, "In China, they're closing churches, jailing pastors, and rewriting the Bible." Another source posted an article titled, "The media won't say it, but Christians are the #1 persecuted group worldwide." And then there's this excerpt. Sri Lanka, April 21, 500 wounded, over 300 dead in terrorist attacks. According to mainstream media and many in the international community, these attacks were another senseless assault on, quote, humanity. But the destruction of Christian churches on Easter morning was not motivated by generic hatred. We know exactly why these men, women, and children died. They died for their Christian faith. On the holiest day in the Christian calendar, 3 bombs ripped through Christian churches, killing hundreds who had gathered peacefully to celebrate Christ's resurrection from the dead. So the persecution of Christians, it is prophesied in the New Testament, and those prophecies have proven accurate, but their increase is not necessarily a sign of the end times. I think you understand. Jesus promised he'd return to rapture his church. He'll come and resurrect the dead in Christ, rapture living believers. That could happen at any moment. We say it's imminent. And that's why I ask you each week the same question. Are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready, stay ready, keep looking up. Ready or not, Jesus is coming.